there, welcome back to Bite-Sized Serenity, our video series of short tidbits about various features of Serenity BDD that will help you find all the hidden gems and treasures in this framework. In this episode, I want to continue on from what we looked at last time and have a deeper look at how screenshots are rendered in a Serenity test and how these screenshots can be used to really tell the story of your scenario. Here you can see the scenario, the typical BDD report for a UI test. When you click on one of the screenshots, any screenshot, you'll go into the screenshot view. And this screenshot view gives you a blow-by-blow account of what happened during the test. But a list of screenshots just by themselves doesn't really tell you a story. So Serenity also shows you what happened when that screenshot was taken, when it was run, why the user was doing what they were doing when that screenshot happened. So the idea is that the screenshots are actually a sequence of actions that tell a story of what the user did. In our Gherkin scenario, in this case, we have several given that. So we have given that Jane has a to-do list containing buy some milk and walk the dog. And we can see that here, given that Jane has a to-do list containing buy some milk and walk the dog. But then what happens? Well, then Jane opens the application page, adds some items called buy some milk, walk the dog, and then she goes into more depth, more detail, adds the to-do item called buy some milk, enters buy some milk into the field. And we can see that being entered into the field here, and when it gets completed, we have buy some milk in the field. So can you see what's happening here? You can see these little arrows appearing as we go further on into more and more detail. So I'm going back, I'm stepping out, going right back to the top where we have the general goal that she wants to add buy some milk and walk the dog to her list. And then each time we step more and more into the detail, and these arrows get more and more, we get more and more arrows as we go down. And then as we finish our steps, we can see we've got the name of the step. See, Jane adds a to-do item called buy some milk, but it's been completed. And now she wants to walk the dog, and so forth. So we're basically telling a story step by step in 2 dimensions. We're going through the test in the order of steps that happened, but then for each step we go into detail. And that's what these little arrows are about. They tell you what level of depth you are in a particular story. And let's see how that relates to the code. Remember, let's go to the start. So we have, given that Jane has a to-do list with buy some milk and walk the dog. Given Jane has a to-do list containing buy some milk, walk the dog. Let's step inside here. Now inside we have, given that the date, which one have we got? Go back so we can find the right one. Given that Jane has a to-do list containing some items. So we have the actor called Jane was able to start with a to-do list containing some items. And this task here is what we start to report at this level. Jane opens the application page. Let's see how that works. What happens in the start? In the start page, we have that Jane, so here's our performable, starts with a to-do list, and first of all she opens the browser on the application page. That's what this step is, opens the application home page. And our application home page is this field here. It's an application home page. That's where it's getting that text from. And then the next step, what's the next step? She adds buy some milk and walk the dog. And so we refresh the browser session. We've got a task here that we don't want to see in the screenshots, and we don't want to see it as a step. It happens, but we don't want to report on it because it's just a bit of detail we need to do that so that when we can come back to a new test, we can hopefully have a fresh session. So what we do to achieve that is we annotate our task with is silent. And is silent means that one won't appear. However, here we do a check. A check obviously won't appear either because that's internal logic to the test. But eventually we get to add some to-do items. And that's where the action happens. So that's where we say Jane adds some to-do items. And what does she add? Well, for each of the to-do items, she adds a single to-do item. So we have Jane adds the to-do items called to-dos. That's what we saw here. Jane adds a to-do item called buy some milk. And then we loop through, Jane adds a to-do item called buy some milk, an individual item. And so we've drilled down into this step. Jane adds a to-do item called buy some milk. And then inside there we enter a value. And so how does that rendered? Well, same thing. She enters buy some milk into the field. And so you can see that every action that happens, every task, unless we ask explicitly not to record that task, it will appear at the right level in our screenshots. So we can have a two-dimensional representation of our user journey through the system, going in one dimension, going from start to finish, and then second dimension going from top to bottom, going further and further into the tests, into the details. And that's all we have time to show you today. Thanks for watching. And if you want to learn more about Serenity BDD, make sure you subscribe to this channel and check out the Serenity Dojo site, the link under the video, where you'll find a rich curriculum of online video training about Serenity BDD techniques and about BDD and test automation practice in general. There are plenty of free videos to get started, so do take a look and check out the free videos and take a look at all the new material that's being added every week. So until next time, this is John Ferguson Smart signing out.